Well, as this is the petitioner, I'll read it with my lord's permission. नर्मदा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पैरामेडिकल साइंसेज डिंडोरी में संचालित पैरामेडिकल पाठ्यक्रम डीएमएलटी 50 सीट क्रमांक 18-19 की संबंधता निरंतरता हेतु गठित निरीक्षण समिति के प्रतिवेदन पर विचार निर्णय। समिति द्वारा विस्तृत विचार विमर्श पश्चात यह पाया गया कि शैक्षणिक सत्र 18-19 हेतु संबंधता हेतु आवेदन एवं संबंधता दिए जाने की प्रक्रिया उक्त सत्र प्रारंभ होने से पूर्व की जानी थी। विश्वविद्यालय के नियमानुसार बिना संबद्धता प्राप्त किए कोई महाविद्यालय विद्यार्थियों को प्रवेश नहीं दे सकता। प्रस्तुत महाविद्यालय द्वारा उक्त प्रावधान का उल्लंघन किया गया है। शैक्षणिक सत्र की समाप्ति के 3 वर्ष पश्चात भूतलक्षी प्रभाव से संबद्धता देने का प्रावधान विश्वविद्यालय के नियमों में नहीं है। उपरोक्त आधार पर चर्चा अनुसार समिति द्वारा नर्मदा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पैरामेडिकल साइंसेज डिंडोरी का सत्र 18-19 की नवीन संबद्धता का आवेदन पत्र अमान्य किया गया। मतलब इफ माय लॉर्ड्स could turn a page over, मतलब page number 14, because a total of 3 colleges were dealt with by this impugned order. If my lords would see page number 14, मतलब the foot of the page, मतलब विषय क्रमांक 3/1 शाइन पैरामेडिकल कॉलेज. Does my lords have page 14?
1-4.
Yes, my lords, the previous page. My lords, the foot of the page has Shine Paramedical College, if my lords may see that. Well, as identical grounds, same reason that after 3 years of the academic session, I could not have been granted affiliation. If my learned senior disputes that, I'll have to revert. But if exactly on the same factual premise, this has been rejected. And if my lords would again turn a page over to page 15, this is the second college. Sardar Patel Institute, this is Vishay 3/02, exactly on the same premise that they could not have been granted affiliation after a period of 3 years. Now, what transpired after this is, both of these colleges, having faced a rejection of their application for affiliation, approached this honorable court, and those orders are annexed as Annexure P10. Though I'm very grateful for the counsel for the respondent university to have filed an elaborate return, but there is no mention of Annexure P10 as to how do they deal with Annexure P10. My lords, if my lords would see Annexure P10 at page number 48.
48.
Yes, my lords, Annexure P10 at 48. Well, this is the petitioner in this case is Sardar Patel Institute of Paramedical Sciences, who was dealt with in the impugned order, my lords. And if
this order was passed because in other 40 cases,
yes, so
the cases were dealt with favorably.
I'm grateful for that observation. I'm similarly placed. I'm similarly placed. The respondent university does not dispute this. Not even a word or a whisper of Annexure P10 as to how do they dislodge Annexure P10 and the reliance that I place on Annexure P10. 3 colleges were dealt with in terms of the impugned order similarly. 2 approached this honorable court. They have been favorably dealt with. They have been granted affiliation. Their students have been permitted to appear.
What about the subsequent years?
Yes, if I have been granted for the I am better placed than those 2 institutes because they issue.
Where is that order?
That is 26th of February 21. My lords would find it at page 24, Annexure P3. So for the subsequent year, they come to me and grant me affiliation. But 1 year, the preceding year, it is pending. Page 24. So if I was deficient or was not meeting the standards, I would not have been granted affiliation in the subsequent year with all due respect. Page number 24, my lords would see. This on 26th of February 21.
This P3, come to P3.
Yes, your lordship.
P3 was granted
For session.
after the completion of the session.
Yes.
Your lordship, the P3 year was affected by COVID-19, your lordship. That's why things were delayed at that moment. But their case is different, and that P10 which my friend is relying, your lordship, is based on P9, your lordship. And P9 also not says that.
Because if my learned senior has responded to the query, Mullah, I'll conclude my
Your-
submissions
your
because Mullah,
lordship.
otherwise Mullah, there is an attempt made to derail the submissions eventually.
The dispute is only in respect of 18. 20. Because this is an unending process, you know.
Your lordship, their case is 1819, your lordship, and they never approach timely, your lordship.
Well,
Even in nowhere it is mentioned, your-
Just a minute.
I'm sorry.
nowhere it is mentioned actually on which date they have applied for affiliation. In entire petition, they have nowhere mentioned. Somewhere they are saying that इनका draft गुम गया था, इन्होंने जमा कर दिया था. उसके बाद directly इन्होंने 2021 में they have deposited.
So what about this P3?
P3 is your lordship.
1920, you have given affiliation in February 21.
Your lordship, I
How?
already requested your lordship. Then the 20 year was affected by COVID-19, so things were delayed, and in between.
So that means
Section-
2021, there must have been a
Your
problem.
lordship, the section 51 was also imposed in the university.
No, that is no excuse.
Your lordship, I can only submit, your lordship, the application was pending with us for 1920, your lordship, and we have decided that, and because that year was affected by COVID-19, your lordship, so the delay was only on that
So
reason.
what happened to that decision? The other decision, Sardar Patel Institute,
Sardar Patel, that order is,
that was remanded.
your lordship.
And then,
Your lordship, we are taking decision on that.
I make a
your-
statement across bar. They've been granted affiliation.
Your-
Their students have been permitted to appear in the ongoing examination.
lordship,
Mullah, if this could be disputed, I shall have no case.
Your lordship, the date of the decision was most important, your lordship. I am objecting since day one that they have manipulated in the time.
where have you said in your return that this
P10 is not applicable. Mullah, they do not say that anywhere. Not even a whisper of
We
P10.
say that P10.
No, just a minute, just P3 में आइए.
P3, your lordship.
P3 is 1920.
Ye-
It
yes,
has
your
nothing to do with COVID.
Your
COVID
lordship.
came in March 20.
Your lordship.
So how was this affiliation granted retrospectively?
I have only this point is that session was delayed, your lordship.
Why delayed? For what? You said COVID just now.
In some of the
COVID
cases,
had not come by
in some
that
of the
time.
cases, your lordship, the college concerned get recognition from the concerned body very late. That's why.
That means you're not concerned when the application is filed. You just want that application to be considered for whatever extraneous consideration.
But lordship, that in their case, 1819 is prior to 1920, your lordship.
Hmm?
And 1819 is prior to 1920, your lordship. And nowhere I am saying again that they are mentioning that on which date exactly they have given application for affiliation, your
No,
lordship.
fine. They've done something wrong.
Yes, your lordship.
Admitted. Now what about you?
Your lordship, things are delayed, and because they are getting recognition late, so that letter was issued, your lordship.
Why was this affiliation granted? The moment he gets an affiliation for subsequent years, his case, he has some case for earlier years.
Your lordship, they are pushing.
Why do you
only-
grant for subsequent years?
Your lordship, my
You should have rejected it, saying that earlier one was not granted.
Your lordship, I am saying that they are pushing for 1819 only after 1920, your lordship. I have stated in my written.
That is because it was pending till 3rd of March.
No, your lordship.
3rd of March 2022 is when you reject the application. There was no occasion
आप
for
ही
me to come.
आप ही वो जो timeline है उसको follow नहीं कर रहे हैं.
My submission is, your lordship, they are.
There is a timeline fixed,
Your lordship,
last date fixed,
your lordship,
late fee, last date fixed.
your lordship.
Then why do you accept applications subsequently?
My submission is, your lordship, for 1819, they are pushing only after when they got the affiliation for 1920, your lordship.
How did they get it? You gave it to them.
Your lordship, we gave it because they get recognition very late, your lordship.
Recognition late.
Your lordship.
Where is the provision that if a recognition is granted late, you will grant retrospective affiliation?
So, for
Please
that,
point out from the rules, statutory rules.
our rule does not say like that.
So how do you give it? Under what authority of law?
Your lordship, that's why the reasons are that the section 51 was imposed in the university, your lordship.
Section
51 the emergency provisions for.
No, that we are not concerned with that. University had not closed down. It was running. Whether it was running under emergency clause or it was running normally, it doesn't matter.
Your Lordship, mismanagement was found by the state government in the university. That's why the section 51 was imposed. Now we are,
Where is this in your reply?
Your Lordship, I have not mentioned in that case, but in earlier case, in the which case my friend is relying, Oriental College case.
So I'm not relying.
No, this
Nine.
P3 is the sheet anchor of his argument.
Yes.
Your Lordship.
So where is that contention? I mean, your response to this P3. Why? How was this granted? Under what circumstance? Why did you breach the law for grant of affiliation?
Your Lordship, my submission is that they get recognition late, so that affiliation was granted very late, Your Lordship.
They got recognition late. So whoever gets recognition late will be granted affiliation later on after the session ends 2 years back.
Your Lordship, but my submission is also that they are pushing for 18-19 when they get affiliation 19-20. Earlier, they do not have any produced any substantive document that they have.
So recognition of this 18-19
इन्होंने कौन सी तारीख को अप्लाई किया?
they got in 18 itself.
26/12/18.
My submission is, Your Lordship,
And what about 1920 recognition?
Because 1920 recognition was after that, because we have not annexed the document, because it was, but affiliation is subsequent. It follows recognition. So I was necessarily granted recognition. That is when they grant me affiliation, because without an affiliation, they would not grant me recognition. If I could only draw my Lord's kind attention to page 50 of the paper book, because all of these arguments have been taken care of, and the respondent university, having complied with 2 orders passed by this honorable court, could they take a different stand? Is something that is a bit surprising, because once they've complied with the directions issued by this honorable court, wide annexure P10, they cannot, with all due respect, go against that order that has been passed. If my lords could please come to page 50. My lords, I'll demonstrate the facts first. I've already read the impugned order. The impugned order was identical. Verbatim orders were passed for rejection. And if my lords may see page 50 for a moment.
Yes, ma'am. ये रोस्टर भी मुझे अभी ख्याल आया कि रोस्टर पढ़ना नहीं हाँ No, I just realized that I'm hearing a case which belongs to the roster of division bench, some other division bench.
This
Yes,
would
Your
not go
Lordship.
before the honorable division bench 3. That is why it has come before my lords.
No, Your Lordship, actually they have mentioned.
Why won't it go?
My lords, one of the advocates on record, my lords, whose wakalatnama has been filed, his cases don't get listed before DB3.
Much.
Actually, this roster originally belonged to DB1, Your Lordship. Actually,
All
they
right.
mentioned very late that day, so that matter came.
Admit कब किया 18-19 के students
On
को?
18th of March 2019 is when I submit the application to the respondent university.
No, that session was over by that time.
No. P2, my lords, 26/12/2018.
This recognition is in December 19.
December 18.
December?
18.
All right. The
March,
session had begun in July 18.
my lords, this starts from January. If my recognition order be seen, that gives me 15 days to admit students. After which, in terms of the complying with the recognition order, I complied with that. 15 days I admitted students. March of 19 P2.
How can a recognition order be passed and a direction be given for admission in December 18
My lords.
for admitting students of 18-19 session?
My lords,
I mean,
that is because the session starts in this case from
everything goes topsy-turvy. I mean, why are you all doing this?
Your Lordship, that's why the paramedical council is necessary party, because they have not fulfilled certain conditions. We don't know, Your Lordship.
Everything retrospectively.
Your Lordship.
When have you applied
my lords, this
for 18-19 affiliation?
the affiliation. My lords would see page
Recognition.
26, please. Page 26, annexure P4. My lords, this is my application, my lords, the covering letter by which I submitted with a late fee, my lords. If my lords would see page 26, annexure P4 on 3/7/21.
Why not before that?
Well, is
Because this is April 2021 and
Yes.
you are asking for affiliation for the year 1918-19.
My lords. My lords,
Why have you granted admission to the students
my lords, that is
without getting affiliation when you were very well aware that no student can be granted admission?
very well. My lords, the reason is that in terms of the ordinance that was read over to my lords, the last date for submitting application for affiliation is the October, whereas I was granted recognition only in the month of
Please-
December.
Please read that Supreme Court decision.
Because Ma Vaishno, I understand that.
There's
Because
no,
I'm conscious.
no admissions unless recognition, affiliation.
Certainly, I bow down to that. Because I would not dispute what the Honorable Supreme Court, because this has already fallen from my lords, I would not go against it because I'm not in a position to do that. Because that is why, my lords, I had
So
specific.
then ultimately what you are seeking is based on sympathy, nothing else.
Certainly.
Compassion.
There is some more to it, a bit of merits, my lords. That is why I was drawing my lord's kind attention to page 50. Because, my lords, a concession has been made that there is mismanagement at the end of the respondent university. They have not been taking timely
You
decisions.
make the council as party, there's lot many things to be
Well, yes, my lord.
explained by the council.
Well, if I am at this stage only claiming parity. Well, if the respondent university can demonstrate that I am not, my facts are different from annexure
Let the
P10.
council come
Well,
forward.
in that case also, well, the council was not a party. Well, if my lords may only see P10, if my lords may only see P10, well, then I'll bow down to whatever.
No,
When you
your lordship, the
yourself has
original
not
P9,
applied
the
for that,
paramedical
Well,
council was party, your
how
lordship.
can you asking for now?
Well, if my lords may see P10, this exact controversy has been put to rest, my lords. That is what I respectfully submit. If my lords may once see P10, my lords, because I, with all due respect, my lords, would not get a different order than this, my lords, is my respectful submission. If I do not convince my lords that I'm similarly situated, I would not have a case, certainly.
When the petitioner in those cases have applied for
Malaj-
affiliation?
Malas, I say I was better off because they were not granted affiliation for consecutive 2 years. Now they've been granted that for 18, 19 and 19.
In your case, you have applied in the year 2021.
Yes.
When they have applied.
If my lords would see the impugned order annexure P14, the respondent university on the same ground that we'll not grant you after 3 years. Exactly same verbatim reasons have been copied.
When they have applied.
Malas, they had also submitted it belatedly. That is why the reasons for rejection are the same.
It is not mentioned in this case.
Malas, if my lords, can I draw my lords' attention to page 50?
This recognition order,
My lords.
P1,
My lords.
says passed in December 18,
Yes, your lordship.
says that you can admit the students till January 18.
My
Your
lords.
lordship.
That means, or is it 19?
This is January 19. They give me 15 days.
It is 18.
So
Yes,
that is a typographical error. That is a typographical.
This council has to lot to explain. I mean, this is
Well, as
total khichdi is there.
well, for now, could I draw my lord's
No,
attention?
please make council.
Well, because the examinations are going on.
No, your lordship.
Doesn't matter. Let them fail.
Well,
Likhiye isme.
Because
The petitioner, after hearing the learned counsel for rival parties, we are of the considered view that hearing the MP Paramedical Council, which passed an order of recognition with retrospective effect on 26/12/18 by P1, is required to be heard. Next para. The petitioner is directed to make the MP Paramedical Council as party for which no separate application shall be required. Let the same be done by tomorrow. Any standing counsel for the council?
check it from the website. Well, the website must have a list of standing councils.
Any local office of the council?
Vivek Johari, I think so.
Any local office of the council here?
I'm not sure, your lordship.
List the case day after tomorrow.
My lords.
Your lordship.